Hello, friends. Welcome back to the Comfy Org stream. I'm me, Pers, and I'm here with Julian. What's up, Julian?
What's up, Pers?
We're shaking bacon. We are kicking it today. Just going to talk about like how to maintain character consistency in ComfyUI. There's a lot of ways to do it nowadays, and it's always sort of been a problem over the years, maintaining consistency in our characters. So we're going to go over some open source versions. We're going to go over some API versions. We'll start with the open source, then we'll move over to API. The reason I like to use API nodes for this specific task is Google Gemini Flash Image, aka Nano Banana, and Seedream are amazing at this. They're super well. They're relatively high res. Seedream is higher res than Nano Banana, but the nice thing about it is in Comfy you can actually run all those nodes at the same time. So when I'm doing batches of like 8 images, if I can run all 8 of those generations at the same time versus having to run them one after the other locally, it saves a lot of time. But that's not to say you can't do it locally, because you totally can. And we'll talk about the local models, which is Qwen Image 2509. Sorry, Qwen Image Edit 2509. That's the latest version of that. What's the other one? Oh, Flux Context Dev. Pardon me, Flux Dev Context. That's another like instruction based model. And the concept here is basically we're just taking images that you've already made. So images you make with your own things, your own characters, and then you're feeding it into an LLM with vision, VLM, like Nano Banana or Qwen Image Edit or all the other ones I said. And basically, you just once you plug that image in, it's looking at that image and then it can do stuff. So I'll show you how to set up like an API call to an LLM to even generate those prompts. We can get as lazy as you want with this stuff. But if you want to stay local, the only tough part with that is going to be getting the sorry, I lost my train of thought there. If you want to stay local, the hardest part there is going to be getting the API like LLM stuff going locally. There are ways to do this. You can totally just load it up in Ulama or LM Studio. Any of those you can load an LLM up into that can look at images. Run that on your card, and then also run image models. But you may run into issues where offloading that LLM in order to do the image generation will become problematic. So yeah, like it's not to say you can't do it locally. It's just to say that doing it locally is harder and it takes longer. But if you're up for the challenge, I mean, go nuts. You know what I'm saying? But for me personally, the API calls to an LLM are just like absurdly cheap. And then Nano Banana and Seedream are also, they're both so cheap that it's worth it for me just for the time to be able to generate all 8 at once. So yeah, I'm going to talk about the fundamentals of like how to instruct the models, how to set this up, and then we'll show you the different options with how you can do this with Qwen, how you can do it with the other ones, the API ones. And yeah, like I said, you don't have to use API nodes. It's just faster, and this is like one of the cheapest things you can do with APIs. So if you want to like get into that sort of like aspect of machine learning, like using services and then like orchestrating them with your laptop or whatever, this is a great way to do that. Like you can do this on a MacBook. You don't need to diffuse locally, which is the nice part. Okay. But yeah, and then there's, other reasons obviously to use local models if you want to issue censorship and things like that. The closed models, they have censorship. They're just part of the deal. If you open source is more open. So yeah, if you have those goals in mind, then open source is amazing. All right. I guess we'll just get into it.
Do it.
Let's get into it, man.
I've been seeing the results that you've been getting with this. It's very exciting. I think you guys will like this one.
Yeah, it's fun. Okay, well, so this is actually the Qwen ImageEdit 2509 default workflow that comes with Comfy. So let me just slide on over to Comfy here. All right, if you go up into that little C on the top left, which is hidden for some reason. There we go. See that little C up here in the top left? If you hit that and go to Browse Templates inside Comfy, you get this sick new template loader. We've redesigned all these templates to be more informative as to like what they are and what they do. But if you want to do what I'm doing here, we're going to go to Image and we're going to load up this Qwen ImageEdit 2509 default workflow. And when you do, it'll come up and it'll either tell you you're missing a bunch of models. And if it does, you can download them and put them in the folders. If you already have the models, you can just tell it where they are, tell the workflow where they are. It's, par for the course for these type of things. So we just pop that open and get it kicking. Actually, I'll show you what that looks like. Just let me open up a fresh one here. Image, boop, boop, bloop. So yeah, you'll probably see this missing models thing. So all you do is just download. Grab all these files. It's going to put them in your downloads folder. But if you look on the left side of this workflow, there's this markdown here, and it tells you exactly where all those files go in your Comfy folder. And if you missed that pop up, don't sweat it. You can go grab all these from the links as well. So that pop up is just to help. And on desktop, it actually puts the models in the correct folders, which is great. But on the portable version and the virtual environment version, it doesn't. They just downloads them to your downloads folder. So yeah, you just pop them into models, diffusion models for the main model, and then the LoRa goes in LoRa's, the VAE goes in VAE, and the text encoder goes in text encoders. Then once those files are in place, you just you know what? I can't zoom out. That's a new bug. Okay, I'll report that one later. But what that does is once those files are in place, you see these 4 loaders here on the left. If you hit R in Comfy, it's going to refresh the model definitions for these dropdowns. Then you're just going to select all the stuff that's in these because you just put all these files in the folder. Qwen ImageEdit Lightning, Qwen 2.5 VL, Qwen Image VAE. Easy peasy. And once those are selected, it's actually done. Now we just have to upload an image. So we'll just upload this picture of me and we'll say replace with replace the man with a turkey. And if it does it right, it should replace the man with a turkey. Now, this is just the first step of what we're doing here today. This is to show you what an instructional edit model is essentially doing. Because what we're going to do with this then is generate prompts, and then we're going to run multiple versions of this, doing all those prompts in a sort of batch. So that's what I mean by when you parallel versus batch. With API nodes, I can run all 8. If I'm doing 8, I can hit all 8 of those image generations in one swoop. Or if I'm doing it locally, I have to go image 1, image 2, image 3, and I need to reload the model basically each time I'm doing that. So again, that's what I mean. If you have patience, you have time, and it's all good, then just do it locally. If you want quick results because you're busy and you want you're working on something, I highly recommend Gemini Flash Image or Seedream. And Seedream is just the price is really low for the quality you get out of it. You can get 4K out of it. I think it's 3 cents an image or something, maybe even lower than that now. Yeah. There we are. So Qwen ImageEdit 2509 can turn me into a turkey, which is great.
I see the resemblance.
Yeah. So these models all have, and I put this, they have various sort of ability levels to do the thing that we're about to do today. Qwen ImageEdit 2509 does get it some of the time, but it also does, and they all do this, sometimes returns the same image on the way in because you gave it an instruction, it just didn't get it, and it just spits out the same image. So like, just be ready for that to happen because it does happen from time to time. It either can't do the edit or it doesn't know what you're talking about and it just doesn't try anything. And an example of that is like I have this image, right, of me just standing in front of this tree. But if I say, um, camera angle, the camera angle, let me get like a side profile shot and say like, standing, or maybe nighttime. Nighttime's not a good example. Let's just try changing the camera. So sometimes when you just change the camera, it just doesn't
Yeah,
work.
it
So
does. It's just
that's why I tend to use an LLM to do the next portion of this, where that's, generating X number of prompts, um, with different descriptors and different language. And it, because you're kind of like, it's almost like the shotgun spaghetti approach where you're filling a shotgun full of spaghetti and you're shooting it at the wall and you're saying, oh, that one worked. Over time, you may actually figure out which phrases trigger each model to actually do what you want to do. So, pay attention to what it's prompting, but also, you, like I said, you can just load that shotgun up with spaghetti and just, you
pray for the
know,
best.
run it 8 times, and then you have 64 choices that you can go pick, your best data set. And I said this, if you check out our Get Comfy with Comfy video we did this week, this is really good when you have a character and you want to make a world for that character, or you want that character to just sort of exist, in different ways. Like right now, like this image here, like I have this front shot, right? But if I wanted to train a Laura, that's not enough to train a Laura on my likeness. I would need more pictures of me. You can do that sort of thing to make more pictures of yourself or make more pictures of your subject. And then you could train a Laura on that, where it would like have a better idea of the dynamics of your person. Then you change the outfit, change the location, change the, all the different things, expressions, change this, change that, blah, 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 blah. And you get yourself some pretty cool stuff. So yeah, that's the Qwen ImageEdit 2509 thing. And so what I would then say is we've got our save image here. We've got our rest of our stuff. I'm just going to go and quickly delete all this extra stuff here. Whoops. We'll save that.
Control Z for the win.
Yeah, Control Z for the win. So what I'm going to do then is just make this entire workflow here a subgraph. So I'm holding Control and I'm selecting all the things except for this sort of output here. And I'm going to right click outside of these nodes and I'm going to say convert to subgraph. And that's going to take this entire Qwen ImageEdit 2509 workflow and make it a node. So now if I go into this workflow or this subgraph by double clicking on it, you can see we've taken this entire function and made it one singular node. And you'll see these little handles on the left and on the right. This one here says image. This one over here on the left that says nothing. If we go outside of our subgraph, we'll see that we have one image out and nothing on the left. So let's double click, go back into our subgraph, and we want to promote a couple widgets outside of our subgraph so that we can edit them or do stuff with them later. One of those I'm actually going to take is load image, which is, I actually wanted to take this out in the first place. I didn't even want that. So I'm going to delete load image and I'm going to drag this into image. So now what I've done is I've promoted the upscaler or downscaler in this case to the outside of our widget. So if I go to, or the outside of our subgraph. So now if I go over here back to our main workflow, I have an image in, and this is the image in that's going to connect to everything else. So if I double click on this and double click on the image, I can rename it. So we're going to say input underscore image. Now we know what it is and what it does. And the other thing I want to promote is the prompt, because we want that out as well. So let's plug that in here. Bloop. Now we got our prompt plugged into our left side here, promoting those two things. Everything else we can actually leave alone and let it just sort of live in here. So let's go back out, and we have this cool node here. Let's call it Qwen ImageEdit 2509. Okay, friends, this is it. So I'm going to go load image, bloop. God knows what I've got in here. I should really clean out my folders before we go start streaming. Okay, so yeah. I did all that to then be able to do things with this sort of workflow modularly, because this is a lot harder to copy and paste than this is, right? Because like if I want to run, let's just do 3 of them, so that we have like an option of 3 and it won't take forever to run. So if I Control C, Control V, copy, paste, paste. Now I've made 3 copies of this editor, which I can plug all of the same image into and say side profile shot, camera angle, top down, bird's eye view. And then the third one, I can say camera angle, low camera, shooting up at the subject, lower frame. Hopefully that's enough. And then all we have to do is copy and paste these save images out. 1, 2, 3. And now we've made like a very, very complicated workflow, like very easy to
looking,
use and understand. So let's shrink these guys down a little bit too here.
That's such a good use case scenario for subgraphs, honestly.
Yeah, anytime you're going to need to do something over and over again, it's a really good way to do that, and then be able to just set values like one time. Because there's more stuff we can do, but we'll just start here. So now if I run this workflow, it should do all 3 of these in a row. Wink. Can you show how to promote the 3 load image nodes? Oh, yeah, I think I did. MJ's a VTuber. Yeah. He's actually fully AI rendered. Like we have like 14 Julians. They're all live on a server. They
and
all
all
have different
of them
accents.
They all
have different accents. Yeah. Another cool thing is these subgraphs now have previews inside them in the latest version. So you can actually like we're doing the save image because we want to save the images, obviously, but like it is nice because you can actually see what each subgraph is generating now too, which is amazing. So here we've done 3 Qwen ImageEdit 2509 runs on my local machine here. And we got boom, 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 3 different angles. What about other kinds of images like anime, for example? Well, now that's the beautiful thing about Qwen, right? You can just plug LoRa's into this. Any Qwen Lightning LoRa, any Qwen ImageEdit 2509 LoRa, start triggering things, and like there's a there's a relighting LoRa for relighting things into their new environment. There's a bunch of LoRa's that like make it look like cell phone photos from the 2000s. Like there's so many different like things to explore there. So yeah, please do.
I bet that you like that one.
This one's so creepy. But yeah, it really did what I asked, which is great. So obviously just imagine, you can keep extrapolating this, because at some point you can just say, oh, well, copy this 6 times, and now I've got 6 of them. Maybe I want 8, maybe I want 10, maybe I want 45, maybe I want 3,000. But what is the issue now is I need to manually go in and friggin' prompt every single one of these, right? Like that gets really tedious unless you have the perfect prompts already, and like you're doing a very specific job. You know exactly what you want with your character. Like that's what that's for. That's for like surgical precision. That's great. I kind of like to drift around and explore a little more. That's why I like to use the LLMs. There's a local LLM node pack. I believe it's called VLM nodes. You can grab that, and that will give you like access to all kinds of local LLMs. But again, I will warn you, running LLMs and image models in like the same workflow can tend to get a little dicey VRAM wise. So yeah, just pay attention to that. That's why I like to use API calls for LLMs. Um, yeah, just to explain it again.
And they're pretty cheap too,
Can you
anyways.
show how do you? Yeah, I'm late. Can you start over? Yeah, absolutely. Welcome back, everybody.
That's a good one, Kenny. I like it.
All right. Can you show how to use Qwen to replace the background of your current image with the background of the second updated image? Ooh, that's a cool one. Yeah, we can try to do some multiple image stuff. I haven't done any of that for this because this workflow is more about prompting results. But all these models can take multiple inputs in various ways to various degrees of success. So, while I won't say that what you're asking is impossible, it is just this is a more precise way to do what we're doing today, but that is a possibility that we can totally explore afterwards. No. There's one more question I wanted to see. Can you show how you would the 3 image nodes would look like? I'm not sure what you mean, but we'll keep going and hopefully it'll make sense later. All right. So like I was saying, I don't want to write 55 prompts. So let's use an LLM and a little bit of
Elbow
I don't
grease.
know what the word is. Logic. A little bit of logic. So one of the cool things about Comfy is it's incredibly modular and there are all sorts of different node packs. One of the node packs I'm going to use today is a string get line. It's the James Walker node pack, ComfyUI dash various. So you go to manager, you go to custom nodes manager, go to various. JW. There it is. Various ComfyUI nodes by type. This node pack has got a bunch of nodes for dealing with data, strings, values, integers, images, all kinds of stuff. But highly recommend it for a couple nodes. But the biggest node that I use it for is this get string line. I also use his concatenation node, but there's a bunch of concatenation nodes. I digress. Get string line is super cool because I can feed it a multiple line image, and then I can say, "Oh, I only want the first line. I only want the
For
second line.
text.
I only want the third line. I only want the fourth line. I only want the fifth line." So if I have 6 nodes and I have 6 lines of my VLM, I can say to my LLM, I can go, "Hey, when you give me the answer, I want them just as new line separated prompts. No, don't talk back to me. Don't say anything. I
Just the
just
answer.
want the
Yeah.
prompts, new line separated, no spaces between the lines." And when you ask an LLM to do that, it gives you a multi-line text file that you can then parse like this and push every prompt out to a different node. So you get 10 prompts from one call. Super sick.
And this is the big secret
So
here, I think, for this whole workflow, what you're just about to show.
yeah, so let's just use Google Gemini because it's fast and cheap. Google Gemini, if you switch over to Flash, model Flash, Flash is their quickest and cheapest model, and it's perfect for this. It can really do this very well because Flash can look at images. So we got our image, we just drag our image into the Google Gemini like images input. Again, if you want to do this locally, use VLM nodes. Florence might be able to do it with prompt gen. I'm not sure how robust it is. The problem is you need an LLM that's got a little bit of brains to be able to do this, and LLMs are notoriously VRAM thirsty. So yeah, that's why I use the APIs. And this will generate a big old multi-line, which we will plug into our string get line. So first off, we're going to take our string out and use a show text node, this show any node. It's a bunch of show nodes. I'm using the one from ComfyUI custom scripts, but there's a bunch of different show text nodes. Which ones you like? Use the ones you like. Oh, Vcode Pony asks a great question. How do you know which custom nodes you can really trust? Stars. Check and see how long that user has been posting ComfyUI custom nodes. See how many stars there are on the GitHub repo. See if they've made any other node packs. It's always good to Google a node pack and just see if anyone's talking about it. Most everything is generally pretty safe, but yes, if you're unsure and it has a low number of downloads and you've never heard of the author, let someone else test it first. All right. You don't have to be the first one in the water. You know what I'm saying? All right. So let's use our parson. Let's get back to parson. All right. We got our Google Gemini node and we're going to make it do all that stuff I said and make a big long thing. And we're going to show text and then feed that out. So this show text node is going to show us what Gemini said back to us. Then we can feed that into the get line node. Basically, you would then just copy and Control Shift paste. And when you Control Shift paste, it's going to maintain the connections that it had from the last node. So we need 3 of these. So let's do that one more time. We got 3 of them. And indexes start at 0, 0, 1, 2 is 1, 2, 3. Anytime you see the word index, that's what that means. It starts at 0. Just remember that. So 0, 1, 2. And that'll grab the first line, second line, and third line from this body of text, which is you are a video director. I had a really cool prompt for this somewhere. Where did I put it?
I think I know where it could be.
One sec, friendos. I have one. I mean, I can there's no point in redoing work. One sec. I think it's right here. So many things. You are oh, you know what? I don't have it. Nice. All right, I'm just going to retype it. You are a video director. Describe the next scene from the image you're looking at. I need the prompts, new line separated, no spaces between. You are prompting a state-of-the-art image editing model. I need the prompts, new line separated, no spaces in between. Yeah, I think that's basically what I covered. Let's try that. Doop. And so you describe the next scene for the image. You are prompting a scene. I need 3 prompts, new line separated. Describe 3 prompts containing the next scene. You got to tell it a few times how many you want, just in case.
Just 3. And did you say do not give me? Yeah, you already told it.
Yeah, we'll try this. Let's see what happens. YOLO. So this is less like different camera angles and more like maybe the next scene in a movie. There's actually a really cool Laura by Lovis, the next scene Laura for Qwen Image 2509, which is definitely worth exploring. Which does something similar to this. But yeah, let's see what our show text gave us. Let's see what old Gemini has to say.
There it is.
Oh yeah, right. I forgot. Gemini becomes tall. It's a tall node. Sorry, I know that's annoyingly wide. I just wanted to show that it's 3 separate lines there. So it's going to feed each one of those into a each one 0, 1, 2 into here. So this is the basic sort of math logic of what we're doing here today. And then we're going to just try swapping out different sort of nodes and different things. So let's see how Qwen ImageEdit does with this.
Man, I love what I love with the subgraphs is that it shows what it's doing even here. It's so cool. Looks like a little mini case sampler on its own.
Yeah, I know. It's so great to have the previews in the subgraphs now. You are a video director. Boom! I
Yeah,
just
you're
gave
smiling.
AI a
Yeah.
job. Yeah, so that first prompt was the man's gaze sharpened slightly, a flicker of surprise, and then a warm smile spreading across his face as he begins to raise his right hand in a greeting. It's true. So one of the cool things we're getting here is another thing that you can use this for, which is generating storyboards to make first frame, last
Uh-huh.
frame animations. So if you think of, I mean, even that one. See, this into the thing where I didn't do anything. Anyway, yeah, zoomed in a bit. Zoomed in on me. But yeah, so like this waving one, right? If I use this starting image over here as my first frame and then the waving one as my second frame,
You have an animation.
I can make
Yeah.
my character wave.
And the directions you can go with this
Easy.
is just crazy. You can make a scene.
Mm-hmm.
You can fully make a scene.
Okay, we got them. Boom, boom, boom. So let's I have a picture of. I have a better picture here somewhere. More pictures. All right. Let's see if it can do a next scene. Oh, that's interesting. Did it start running this one already? Oh, maybe it just started loading the model. I was like, it doesn't even have a prompt for this one yet.
Oh.
Yet it lit up,
Oh, it's gonna be the model loading.
Is there any models we can use locally that will give her a similar result, like
Yeah.
Context to Qwen? This is local. These are local models.
And for Gemini, you could use a Florence, for example, maybe, but that would be right, kind of something like that.
Not really, because you need to generate new prompts.
Yeah, for each.
Florence is
Oh,
really
it's just a
more for
one
like
time.
describing the image. Yeah, it's really good at that.
You could just maybe try with Florence to describe the image and then concatenate things you type yourself. I don't know. You could get creative, but it would not be as.
I didn't even notice this scary demon in
Oh
the
yeah,
back seat.
it's just
It made the demon
oh my
scarier.
god, I like it.
Yeah, these are free. That's correct. Yeah, Context and Qwen are free and local. We haven't got to the API nodes yet. The only API node we're using is the LLM one, and that's because local LLMs take too much VRAM to sort of bother with.
And if you wanted to just use all API, if you're on a Mac, for example, you could replace the Qwen by a Nano Banana, and you should be cooking.
Yeah.
With no fire.
Yeah, like after this one's done, actually, I think we've hit a VRAM wall, maybe. It's taking ages. Sometimes this happens when I'm streaming. Look at those eyes.
Ricky. Oh my goodness. That's actually funny. Oh my god. You can't miss it now.
So trippy. Medium. Is Google Gemini free too? No, not for this, but you don't need to do that part of this in Comfy. Oh, that's true. QuenVL local. Yeah, iMac. iMac mentioned QuenVL local. Definitely worth checking that out. But if you want to Yeah, 2 GPUs, one for images and one for LLMs. Yeah, basically. I was gonna say you don't need to do this part, the specific part, but it do this sort of you are a video director describe 3 prompts part. You don't need to do this in Comfy. You could if you already have an account with like Claude or GPT or Gemini, any of that stuff, or anything you can use for free that has a VLLM, you can just throw that image in, right, and just get like use this prompt to get your prompts, and then instead of using the Gemini node, just use a multi-line, like a multi-line string multi-line node. I think there's a Comfy
Yeah.
Core, and then just take the output from ChatGPT or whatever, and just paste it in here and use it exactly the same way with the get string nodes. You just replace, these outputs
Get
with
line,
this
yeah.
output. Yeah. Or rather these
This
ones
is
here.
just streamline, which is the beauty of what you're doing here.
Yeah. So like this, we do it all in one shot, but if
Mhm.
you don't want to use the API nodes, you don't have to. It's all good. That one's awesome.
I like how you notice a little detail, and this thing only noticed that.
Yeah, it only noticed that detail.
Oh my god.
Yeah, get swapping. Right on. Okay, so grab another. Yeah, we got this guy eating ice cream and shooting a machine gun. That's kind of cool. Okay, what can we do to this image?
The ice cream melts on the cat.
Well, I guess we'll see what the next scenes are, right?
Yeah. And then the cat gets mad, and the cat scratches the guy's face. That's what I
Yeah,
would
just
do.
buy an H200. Yeah, exactly. Just go get a server GPU. Everybody's got that kind of coin just flopping around. Can you add 1988 look in the negative prompt? No, we want the 1988 look. What are you talking about? Yeah, these images they they started that way. Okay, the cat is on a ledge now. We're on a rooftop. But these are kind of slow. It's kind of nice to use API nodes, just saying. Once you get used to it, it's really hard to go back to this. I'm not going to lie. But also, if you're just running it, like if you're just running this, sorry, friends, there we go. Just someone asked if for the prompt from the LLM. So there it is right there. Yeah. Another thing you can add is don't add any spaces between the lines instead of no spaces between. Last time I was using a different model and I put no spaces between, and the prompts themselves had no spaces between the letters.
Oh,
Like it was just
it
like
became a mess.
period,
Yeah.
period, period.
It's kind of fun, like to play with this kind of Gemini, like LLM knows where you can just see what it likes and what it doesn't like, and then you get like you can fine tune it to really get something really precise that works for your own workflow and your own use. It's kind of fun, actually.
Yeah, this one's
Oh,
cool actually.
the lighting of the last one's crazy.
Yeah, that one was like there's an explosion behind them.
Oh, laser explosion, I guess.
Yeah. Sudden burst of blue light flares from the alley entrance
Oh,
behind the man, making him flinch and turn his head sharply. Rifle still in hand, but momentarily forgotten as the ginger kid hisses softly. Also, his left eye got a little janked out there.
he checked out the laser real quick and he got blind. That
Oh,
makes sense.
another thing is though, but I'm also running A, I'm streaming, which makes it slower. B, I'm running the lightning LoRa on these, so I'm only doing 4 steps. So it is possible to increase the quality on these, just like crank the quality up, get rid of the lightning LoRa, and do like 25 step runs and stuff. It just takes so much longer on a process that already takes, time. Not kidding with multi GPU. Yeah, multi GPU is becoming a thing. I know, it's super exciting. We got some of the stuff can be spread across multiple GPUs now. If you have multiple GPUs, please get on the Discord and get talking to the other people that are playing with that, because that stuff's super interesting. Is there a way to have an array of images and run it continuously and it loads the next image in the array after the new images are generated and saved? Yes. Comfy is designed to do batch processing of things. It's one of its most powerful aspects is, I did this run once, but I could also do this run 100 times, right? And it'll just keep doing it. And then there's ways to say, every time you load a new one, I want a new image in here. Every time you load a new one, I want 3 new images. So like everything is automatable and and batchable. So yeah.
And another cool thing first is for whoever asked that question, you can also take the output and make the output becomes the input.
Yeah, that's true with the load image from output node.
Yeah.
This one here. So this node will always have the last generated image as the image. So if you use that as your
then you can go
your
forever.
First image, you could just like literally loop this thing forever. It would probably just end up as latent goo at some point, but YOLO. Okay, so that's Qwen ImageEdit. Let's just mute these nodes here. Bloop, and let's add a Gemini image. What are they called? Google Gemini image. What are nodes? What are those?
I haven't heard that in a minute.
String. So I'm going to do this 3 times. String 1, which is string 2. String 3, which is index 2. Yeah. And then, so that's our prompts. We need our image, which is this one. 2 and 3. So now we have our replacements for Qwen ImageEdit. Pop these into each one of these guys, and then we'll just move our Qwen ImageEdit nodes over here. Grab these ones and slot them in.
Yep.
So now we're going to try 3 Google Gemini image nodes and see how it looks.
And you already plugged in the text prompt that you did?
Yes. Yeah. Should just do the thing. So here's the nice thing about API nodes is after it runs this one, it's actually going to run all 3 of these runs at the same time, which will be much faster. Boom, boom, boom.
Damn, that was substantially faster.
So we got, you know what? Let's make a grid real quick. So I'll show you guys how to do that. Image stitch. We're going to use an image stitch node. Okay. We're going to plug in our first image. We're going to plug in our first sort of redreamed image. And then we're going to plug in our second redreamed image and our third redreamed image. So we're going to have these 2 image stitch nodes, and we're going to stick them together with an image stitch node. 1, 2, and down. So right, down, 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 which will make a grid of images, which will be much easier for us to compare what it's doing. Is it possible to do this multiple image generation at the same time with Seedream? It sure is. You can either do it this way, where I'm doing parallel runs, or you can ask Seedream for multiple images. But I have found that method does take longer. So
and this one,
your mileage really cool. May vary. Let's get that nice and big. So that's our original image here. Yeah, and then
it's almost
you don't even care about the fight anymore. Yeah. He's more interested in the cat and his.
It's telling a story almost.
Yeah.
And then you can put one first, last frame and a couple
Yeah,
times, and boom, get your scene.
easy peasy. I'm gonna help our OCD friend over here on the stream, and I'm gonna de-streamify this workflow a bit, and I'm gonna make it linear so they don't lose their mind, because I do understand that linearity helps people understand what is freaking happening in these nodes. Because yeah, it can get a little soupy. Julian and I are very used to, the sort of like
Chaos.
the chaos, yeah, and sometimes we don't think about that sort of, you know, when we're displaying it, or we're trying to display it in a way that everyone can see, more specifically what's happening. But yeah, so like this is the idea, right? Sequentially, we don't really need these nodes anymore, but we're going to keep them around just
Yeah.
so we can do something with them later. But sequentially, what we're doing is we're loading our image, feeding that into our first Google Gemini, which is giving us our prompt.
Prompt. Yeah.
And our prompt is being spread into three separate things into one sort of string. Then we need to separate those strings with these string get line nodes and feed them into each Google Gemini image sequence, sort of in sequence. And we do that with these string get line nodes. And then this is just an output of what each node is making so that we can see them. And then we have this final thing here where we're just stitching together our images, top left, top right, bottom left, bottom right, image stitch down, smash it all together, and you get this cool grid of the images with your original image on the top left and then the other three images we've made on the right. So hopefully that helps with the linearity of what's happening here. Yeah, I understand when nodes get on top of each other, it can get a little confusing. So I'll try to only put them on top of each other when they're part of the same step, if that makes sense. And then
It's funny
left to
because
right as much as possible so
yeah,
that it doesn't get too confusing. Like I get that this is just stacked in a different way, but hopefully it makes more sense.
and it's funny because I really don't like the way it is right now. I prefer like
Yeah,
the
I would. Yeah, I would prefer the other way, but
yeah,
that's okay.
yeah.
That's also something that might just happen
But hey, guess what? That's the
naturally.
beauty of Comfy. You do whatever you want.
All right, let's see what the next scene is for this guy eating a banana.
Oh goodness.
We're testing Nano Banana.
I don't like that he's not taking out the peel. It bothers me, but
No, I
take
mean,
your
well,
own.
he's also eating the bottom, which is crazy. He's just like going dive into the bottom of the banana, right? That's
He's
that's
yeah.
that's crazy behavior. Also, I'm not sure if he has an index finger.
Yeah.
Guess we'll find out.
Maybe it is the
Oh,
banana.
okay. Yeah.
Oh, that's hey.
That
You know
one's
what? He's just
crazy. That
peeling.
that
He's
one's crazy. He's just
he's
gnawing it open,
no. It was just peeling the banana. That's all. It works.
peeling it with his teeth. Here you go.
Uh-huh.
Here you go, friend. That's a real nano banana. Whoops. Just a bunch of creepy waterfalls. Sure, why not? I have a man fighting a gorilla. I
I see it.
have.
It's so
I don't know
fast,
if they're
anyways.
fighting or dancing.
Well, we'll see what Nano Banana thinks, or Google.
Forest looks cool. Yeah, friends. Again, like we're only doing 3 here, but you could do 8, you could do 12, you could do 45. It's all a matter of copying, pasting, and like in this case, these
Money.
could actually be like these little workflow chunks could all be subgraphed as well. Like subgraph doesn't need to be your whole workflow. You can subgraph small portions of your workflow to make them one node so that you can look at everything in one sort of fell swoop or whatever.
Oh, they were fighting.
This one's insane. This guy's cooked. It just starts raining dramatically. He
Yeah.
just Donkey Kong punched a hole in the floor or in the ground. I love it. I love it. No spaghetti around here. Clean nodes only. Let's try this action movie sequence here. The gorilla's immense power sends the man flying backward. All right, the man in the suit, still chewing, coolly looks up with a swift, precise movement. You know what? I think this one might break it. Oh no, it's good. It's good.
I see the 3 blocks.
Yeah, the strings. Yeah, one cool thing you can do when you're doing this to make sure that you're getting the right strings is like grab this like output thing here and just make it like so wide that you're getting sort of
3 lines, yeah.
you getting to see the line separation. Yeah, and then you can. Oh, that's right. There is a someone asked in the chat where the little price badges are. I was doing some screenshots, so I had to turn them off or something, but let me turn them back on. API. Where's that? Comfy. There it is. Show API pricing badge. How'd this one turn
refresh.
out?
He's
I got to refresh. So you could 100% first frame, last frame, a couple of these and have a great little sequence.
Yeah, the one looks like he got his mouth full of spaghettis. Don't know how.
Let's refresh that. Yes, they absolutely do cost. API nodes cost dollar dues, but very cheap, extremely cheap. That's why we're using the Google Gemini stuff, because the Flash is I think the cheapest one basically. But please feel free to again swap this out with Qwen ImageEdit like we did at the beginning, or ByteDance Seedream if you want. We can actually swap Seedream out now. See what that looks like before we dip. Seedream 4 is basically the same setup as the Google Gemini image nodes. The only thing it doesn't do is Google the Nano Banana nodes, the Flash nodes. They do auto aspect ratios, which is cool. The ByteDance ones don't, so you need to pick a size preset. So our input image in this case is 16:9. That might not always be the case for your input image, and Gemini is very robust in the way that it'll just like deal with whatever aspect you're feeding it. But ByteDance doesn't. You got to be specific. So we'll just stick with 16:9 for now. Plug in that image, and then we'll just do the same thing here. Make 3 of those. 1, 2, 3. And we're going to use these get string line nodes. Boop. 1, 2, 3. And that'll go string into prompt, string into prompt, string into prompt. The other thing you want to do is disable the watermark on the what do you call it? Seedream nodes. Otherwise, it'll say AI generated at the bottom. And our 3 save images. We're going to copy Control CV. Actually, we didn't need to Control paste those because
it's a new one.
I'm actually going to plug these in from there. Yep. Yeah. Doop, doop, doop. So that's it, actually. And then our 3 outputs for these can go up into these guys here, which was 2, 1, and 2. You can also make redirects. Normally, you wouldn't be like doing what we're doing here, which is sort of stress testing different models. You would just pick them, and everything would be chill. But yeah, so that's that. And there's our. Let's put our Qwens up there too. I'll just put this workflow up too. You guys can unbypass the nodes you want to use.
Yeah, choose your flavor.
And I don't even know what's down here. Oh, that's the old Qwen stuff. Get rid of that. All right, cool. All right, friends. This is the same thing, but with the ByteDance nodes. Let's see what it do. We'll do the spaghetti one. Is buying Comfy credits for API nodes support ComfyUI? It sure does. Give me a warm, fuzzy feeling thing it does, but maybe it helps the other companies more. It helps everybody, but yeah, it does. Absolutely helps us too. Appreciate that. But the API nodes provide a lot of value in the sense that like some of those closed models are just, some of that stuff's just not available in open source, unfortunately. Sorry, I just wanted to check to see if those were 3 separate lines. Looks like they are.
Been doing good. Yeah.
He does not like the spaghetti.
I hate those.
But like, as you can see, good, very good identity retention in these. It looks like the same person. That's pretty cool. Can you show how to promote the 3 load image nodes and simplify? Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, to promote a node, let's just sorry, I'm going to unbypass this and go into it. So for our case, we wanted to plug the load image into the scale image to total pixels. So then you just drag from one of these into the thing you want to promote. That's literally it. And then when you go out, that widget has become promoted to the output here. So then you would just plug your image right into it, right into that new input you've created. So it's how you send inputs and outputs from the subgraphs in and out to other
In and out,
nodes that
yep.
are outside that subgraph.
And yeah, first I'm going to share the thing I found out last night. If you are in subgraphs, if you escape, it comes out of subgraphs.
Yes, the escape key will drag you back into your main workflow. So yeah, friends, I mean, like, hopefully that gives you some pretty cool ideas on where you can go from here. Yeah, we, like I said, the API nodes are fast. They're great. But if you want to do it locally, you so can. That's one of the coolest parts about Comfy is like any workflow you want to do, anything you want to try, you can probably do it in Comfy. Just pick the combination of things you want to do.
Just go crazy.
Go crazy. Yeah, friends, we'll be back on Tuesday. Have a great weekend and go make some cool stuff. If you want more information on this, check our Get Comfy with Comfy on this topic. You can see some of the videos I've made with a little felt version of me, and that's all, this sort of concept. Give me a bunch of scenes with a character, either in a new outfit, describe what you want to that LLM on the way in, and it will just generate new stuff for you. So it's a really cool way to like explore a world for a character that you've created. Like I made a little felt version of myself. Actually, I think I have a video of it here.
Let's see it.
Yeah, let's bring it up real quick. And like all this is the same workflow. Stop loading. It'll take a minute to analyze and process. A more prepared person might have uploaded this before the stream, but that's not how we roll. That's not what we do around here. Not really our jam,
And yeah, Cosmic, you're right. I did get a new camera. good observation.
Yes, MJ looks crispy.
And Jerry is right. I always look clean.
Mm-hmm. Is there any way to use Python to connect the nodes? Oh yeah. The Comfy is Python. the whole guts is all Python. The custom nodes are all Python. It's all Python. It's all Python all the way down. All right, I think the video's up. There we go. Frames from this very workflow, basically. That's true. The front end is JS. It's not Python all the way down, or at least not on the top.
And this looks amazing first. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I loved it. I like. I really like this concept for world building where you get it just right, like once, and then you can really just start just going out from that one sort of place. So it's definitely something to consider, like as an exploratory tool for building out worlds for characters you've created either in the past or stuff you got in your brain. Like there's no excuses anymore. Go make a movie, everybody. Like come on, like what what what's the excuse now?
You tell me.
I mean, I haven't made a movie either, but I just like to be inflammatory. It's kind of fun. Much love, everybody. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you all on Tuesday. Bye bye.
See ya.